Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Mullinax, and this is Burn After Reading Live. So, this is a spontaneous episode. I want to go over something that I briefly touched in an earlier episode of the West Memphis 3 case, but I felt it needed its own episode because I think it's kind of important. And it's about an overlooked witness in the West Memphis 3 case. And no, I'm not referring to Jamie Clark Ballard, woman who claimed that she saw Terry Hobbs with Stevie, Michael, and Christopher on the evening of the murders. No, I want to talk about Carrie Morris. And what I want to do here, I'm taking this from a blog, a very good blog called The West Memphis 3 Revelations. And I'm going to provide a link in the description page, and you guys should check it out. It's very well researched. So let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and share it and we'll go over it. All right, here we go. So, an overlooked witness. In September of 1993, a then 27-year-old woman by the name of Carrie Morris provided a handwritten statement to police, alleging that on the date of the murders that she had witnessed Damien Echols following Michael Moore in the hours prior to the crime. And as an additional item of interest, Mrs. Morris happened to also be a longtime family friend of the Moores and could recognize Michael on sight. Today in 2018, Carrie Morris still says that she saw Damien following Michael on the day of the murders. In a series of posts that she made to social media, she again reaffirmed what she saw. Look, I know what I saw on that dreadful day. I saw Damien following Michael. He was like 2 doors back from him. In another post, look, I have had a lot of guilt about not taking the boys with me when they asked if my daughter could go with them. If my memory serves me right, Michael was on the handlebars of Stevie's bike. And then on another post, look, I deal with my demons on a daily basis and I blame myself. I wish that I could change things that day, but I can't. And in a final post, look, why can't everyone leave not only the friends of the innocent 3 little boys and their families alone? There was so much hurt to do to Michael, Christopher's, and Stevie's family that even to this day, they're still dealing with all the pain of losing these precious gifts. And as you could see here, this is the statement. And I'm not going to actually read because this is like chicken scratch to me. So I'm not going to read this, but it was transcribed, thankfully. So we could talk about that. And here we go. So this was September 29th, 1993. So the police statement by Carrie Morris. Her 1993 police statement reads as follows. On Wednesday, May 5th, 1993, I was going towards Barton, and when I saw Michael Moore walking about 3 houses in front of Mr. Echols, Michael Moore was going home to get his bicycle to go to trail riding with Stevie Branch. This was at about 3:30 or 4 p.m. About an hour later, Michael, Steve, Chris came and asked my daughter, Tiffany Morris, 8 years old, to go riding with them. I told them no. We left to go to Memphis when they were chasing my truck. This was about 4:30 p.m. And I know Carrie feels bad about that, but my God, if she would have allowed her daughter, Tiffany, to go with them, she could have been another victim. So while I know that there's problems and issues that she faces not taking them with her, it's a good thing it didn't happen the other way as well. It's terrible all the way around. Anyways, her timeline of events has the incident occurring at sometime around the window of 3:30 or 4 o'clock p.m. A police interview with Damien Echols' friend, Jennifer Bearden, states that on the day of the murders, he was on the phone with several girls, including Bearden, her friend Holly George, and Jason Baldwin's girlfriend Heather Cleat. According to Bearden, she was on the phone with Damien at sometime around 3:15 or 3:30 p.m. that day, and that during this call, he stated that he was going to walk to his friend Jason Baldwin's house. Now, here's an excerpt from Bearden's interview with Detective Ridge. We weren't talking about much. We were just talking about, if we were going to the skating rink that weekend. And Holly had to get off the phone because her mom needed to use it. And I said, Damon, I'll call you back. And he said, okay. And so he hung up, and I called him back, and we talked for a little bit, and he goes, can you call me back? I'm going to go to Jason's. He said, call me in about 30 minutes. And I said, okay. I called him back in about 30 minutes at Jason's. Ridge, he asks, and about what time was that call you made to Jason's? And she replied, it had to be somewhere between 4:15 and 5, something like that. 5:30. Then Ridge asks, who answered the phone at Jason's? And Jennifer replied, Jason. Ridge asked, and did you talk to Damien? And Jennifer replied, yeah, I talked to Jason about 5 minutes and then with Damien, and really wasn't talking because they were playing video games with his little brother, Matt. Now, based on Bearden's events, that meant that sometime between 3:15 and 3:30, Damien got off the phone with her and began walking down to Jason's house. This gave Damien roughly half hour to 45-minute window to which Carrie Morris could have in fact seen Damien, as she said she saw him at some point between 3:30 p.m. and 4 p.m. So let's take a look at the map. So we have Damien's trailer here on the bottom right-hand side, and a little bit in the upper middle, we have Carrie Morris sighting when she said that she saw Damien following Michael, and that's Barton Avenue right there. And then, of course, if we look on the upper left-hand side, we see the crime scene. So, testimony from Damien at trial also stated that he often walked from his house directly to the service road on the other side of Robin Hood Hills in order to reach Jason's house. And to do this, he often walked around or near 14th Street. So let's take a look at this map. Let me see. All right, make it bigger. Okay, so we see Damien's trailer here, and then we see here where things are circled. That's North 14th Street. And if you go all the way up, then you see East Barton Avenue. So we're seeing this location. And then, of course, if we go all the way up, we see the crime scene. All right. So, returning to Carrie Morris's statement, she further stated, Damien and Michael were both walking south on 700 block North Wilson on east side of the street. I know it was Damien Echols because I saw his picture in the paper after he was arrested. I knew it was Michael from school and knowing his parents all my life, and known Michael for about 3 years ever since they moved back from Florida. So here's another detail of the map. So we see here on the right-hand side where it shows Wilson Road, the area Morris said that she saw Michael and Damien. And a little below that, we see East Barton Avenue. And then we see Michael Moore's house right there on North 14th Street and a little below East Barton Avenue. So far, her statement seems to be lining up. And according to the sighting, Michael Moore was seen walking on the block behind his house while Damien followed him behind. So a little bit of reference points here. We see the home of L.G. Hollingsworth. We see the home of Heather Cleat, and then the location of the Carrie Morris sighting right here on Wilson Road. And again, we see the home of Michael Moore. So it's of note that the location that Morris spotted Damien is also nearby to the home of Heather Cleat and LG Hollingsworth. Cleat was one of the girls Damien had spoken to multiple times over the phone on the day of the murders, and LG was a friend of his who also happened to be the cousin of his then girlfriend Dominique Tier. LG was also himself was investigated as a suspect in the murders and made a handful of statements indicating he could have been involved with the crime possibly after the fact. Heather Cleat, though, in an affidavit made in 2008, added a startling new piece of information to the puzzle. She claimed that on the day of the murders, stating that on May 5th, 1993, prior to the victims going missing, Christopher Byers was at her home. This is significant as Damien had been speaking with her on the phone on the same day. And in relation to the Carrie Morris sighting, Damien was a short distance from Heather's home when he was seen following Michael Moore around. And let's look at an excerpt of Heather Cleat's 2008 affidavit. At the time, I knew Chris Byers, one of the young boys who was killed. I attended junior high school with Ryan Clark. Ryan was the stepson of John Mark Byers. Chris Byers was John Mark Byers' son. I had actually seen Chris Byers at my family's house in West Memphis on May 5th, 1993, the day the three boys were reported missing. He had arrived on his bike. So, given the time frame and location, the statement made by Carrie Morris would seem very significant as it could be true. The time is compatible with the time that Damien left his home, and in the general direction he would have walked to get to Jason Baldwin's house. So it's the right time and the right place, and the location of the sighting is near the home of one of the girls Damien was talking to on the day of the murders, and the same girl saying that one of the victims was at her house that day. So I thought all of that was very interesting, so I wanted to share that. Let me go ahead and take that out. So what do you guys think? Do you think she's a reliable witness, say, compared to Jamie Ballard, who decided to wait until September of 2009 to make a statement when all of this West Memphis 3 thing was blowing up with advocacy? See, I tend to, if you're going to take witness statements, they're more reliable around the time when they happened. That's my view on it. So anyways, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Go ahead and comment. And in the future, there's a lot of other West Memphis 3 projects that I'm working on. I do this for informational and educational purposes. It's not for clickbait. It's not so that I can draw revenue. I don't make any money off this stuff. But some of the things that I do want to talk about, I would like to talk about the forensics versus the state's experts and the post-conviction legal experts, that they have their own opinion on what happened, during that fateful night and how some of those wounds happened. I will not show autopsy photos either publicly, nor will I refer to how you can find them. They're out there, but I'm just not going to do that. But you're your own individual. You do what you feel like you need to do. Another project I am considering working on, something that one of my channel subscribers mentioned, was reviewing Dan Stidham's book, A Harvest of Innocence. He was Jesse Miskelly's attorney, representing him during his trial and after. So we'll see. I can actually get it for free if you're a part of Kindle Unlimited, which I am, so I don't have to pay for it per se. So we'll see. Also coming up, I'll be speaking with a Maura Murray advocate and one of the administrators of the Maura Murray Strength in Numbers Facebook group. That's Robert Lynch. I'm looking very much forward to talking to him. And anyways, that's it. Thank you all so very much. Hopefully everything I said made sense, and I'll catch your ass down the road. Have a good one.